Hello, today we're going to be talking about intercepts of graphs. For this section, what we're going to care about are x-intercepts, the y-intercept, and then functions being both where functions are positive and where they are negative. All right, so to get started, we have the x-intercept. The x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis. So we have the x-axis right here, and our x-intercept is anywhere that this line crosses that axis. So that's 1, 2, 3. So those are 3 x-intercepts. After that, we have a y-intercept, which is where the graph crosses the y-axis. Here's the y-axis. Crosses right there. Next up, we have positivity. A graph is, the function part's positive when the graph is above the x-axis. So that means this part right here is positive. This part right here is positive. And finally, we have a function being negative, and a function is negative when it is below the x-axis. So we have our negative portion right here. In this section, we're going to do a lot about locating these things, and for most of the pictures, the first thing we're going to do is mark what we see. So before we go ahead with example 1, they gave us a graph. So let's get our markings. We have x going down, y going across. You have an x-intercept. Sorry, y going down, x going across. Then positive is above, and negative is below. All right. Now, before we go any further, something just to talk about real quick. Being able to graph where these intercepts are called root solutions. Or the zeros. Furthermore, the x-intercept will always be of the format a number followed by 0 in the Cartesian coordinate, and the y-intercept will always be a 0 followed by a number. So back to example 1, we have our x-intercept. We know that this is going to be 0 right here. 1, 2, 3, positive 3. The y-intercept, all right, we know it starts with a 0. Positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This graph is positive. All right, that's where it lies above the x-axis. All right, so for positivity, that is going to be, let's see, so x equals 3 is where things change. So it looks like for values that are smaller than 3, so that's everything this way, it stays positive. So that's going to be x less than 3. And it's going to be negative, so that means it's going to be below the x-axis for values of x greater than 3. As x increases, the y value goes down. So as x gets bigger than 3, the y value stays negative. And for this one, it's the opposite. As the x value goes down, the y value continues to be positive. So for all values less. All right, next up. Check. It says use the graph to estimate the x and y intercepts, and then determine where it is positive and negative. So first up, add that visual information. We have the x-axis and the y-axis. y-intercept, where it crosses, x-intercept. We have it being negative right here, and being positive right here. All right, it says the x-intercept is -2, 0. That checks out. Y-intercept is 0, -6. All right, that checks out. Positive for values of x greater than -2. Here's -2 as we go past -2 this way. Doesn't work. So positive of x greater than -2 is false. Do any of these? Yes, D has it as well. We can eliminate D because it has that false statement. All right, let's see. Intercept of 0, -6 for x. No, that's a y-intercept. Can't be B. So the answer must be C. Intercept, -2, 0. That matches. Y is 0, -6. That matches. For values less than -2, it's positive. For values greater than -2, it is negative. Perfect. Example 2. Again, we are finding our x and y intercepts and determining where this graph is going to be positive or negative. So let's mark it. We have x. We have y. We have this big negative portion down here. We have two little portions here going off that are positive. And for intercepts on the x, right here and right here. And for the y, we have an intercept right there. All right. So our x-intercepts, well, we know for the x-intercept before anything, its y value will be 0. So the two x-intercepts have a 0 for the y value. We have -4 and +3. The y-intercept, we know it starts with a 0, and then we need the number. So that is -12. This graph is going to be positive, so from right here at -4, we see that as the x values go down, the y values increase. So when it's going to be positive for values of x less than -4, and then at 3, as x increases, y increases, so it'll stay positive. So x greater than 3. But when it's negative, it starts being negative at -4 to +3. And you could write that as -4 less than x less than 3. All right, we have our next check. Determine key features of this function. Let's add in our x and y. X, y. Now we know our intercepts. I see one right here, and I see two right here. I see positive this little arc up here because it's above the x-axis, and we have negative, which is down here and here because they are below. All right, it says determine if these are x, y intercepts or neither. 1, 0. 1, 0. Hey, that lines up with one of our x-intercepts. How about 0, 1? 0, 1, that does not line up with anything, so neither. Describe where the function is positive and negative. All right. Positive for values of x less than 1. No, that's a false statement. So that's false. Positive for values of x greater than 1 and less than 4. All right, greater than 1 and less than 4. All right, that matches. Negative x values is between 1 and 4. No, the negative values are not between 1 and 4. C, positive x is between 1 and 4, correct. Negative x is less than 1, correct, and is greater than 1. No, and less than 4. Nope, that's not going to work. D is our only answer. Positive between 1 and 4, yep. Negative for values less than 1 and greater than 4. Example 3. Again, before we do anything else, I'm going to draw in our x and y axis and make my marks. Intercept, intercept, and this is positive. All right. Sports. The graph shows the height of a ball for each second x that it is airborne. All right. So this shows the ball airborne. Use the graph to estimate the x and y of the function, where the function is positive and negative, and interpret the meaning. All right. So we have the height of the ball to time in seconds. First up, the x-intercept is going to be at 9, 0. And that means that the ball will hit the ground after 9 seconds, because at 9 seconds its height is 0. Our y-intercept is at 0, 4. This means that at time of 0, the ball was at a height of 4 feet. The function is positive when x is between 0 and 9, which means the ball is in the air for a total of 9 seconds. And finally, no portion of the graph shows that this function is negative. And that is it for today. Thank you so much.